profit still if I was watching the trade, but it was one of them. You risk it, you're either
But you win some,
right
you
or
lose
wrong,
some.
innit? That's it.
Yeah, I'm
But
like,
just
I'm
taking them off them
trying not
trend
to get.
lines, as long as you got some. Go ahead.
Sorry, what was that, Mike?
I was just taking it off the weekly highs and lows. That seems to be me highest probabilities now.
What, play in the
So then,
consolidation range?
We'll just take it, just watching for them like breaking retest. So it's like that wasn't one today. I could see that was just right under it. Wasn't going to break the that range, but they were just taking any position on a kind of weekly or monthly high and low. So not like we were showing in the last where you marked them off.
Yeah.
The previous week candle. Just them areas are the most successful for me.
And then just watch as the volume dies off.
Well, no, I just always go for no more than it depends where the other areas are. So I'm setting me stop loss, me take profits, like areas of where there's like a bit of resistance. I'll just set them there so I could see. I didn't go for a 2.5. I pulled it back slightly just to sit where there was it was just another key area. There was a whole number as well, pretty much 1.250. So it was on that quarter point, etc.
Yeah, bagging.
All this stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting fudded at the moment in my BTC position. I'm short from 25k, and I've got a friend who's trying to go long, and it's just fucking with my head, and he's just fucked with me the whole day. Even there's like I'm still thinking bearish though. We'll see now. And we're gonna do some fundamentals.
Let's begin. Let's begin. Okay. This week also, I think I'm gonna get more active on the charts. All right. So Monday today, obviously, we started the pre-weekly technicals a little bit late because we had the bank holiday today. So today, obviously, there was a very low volatility in the market, no volume because of the bank holiday, president holiday, apparently. So Tuesday, that's tomorrow. I think we might have, I think we have a good amount of fundamentals this week, enough for volatility. So we have British Pound Purchasing Managers Index, and let's look at the numbers, and it's supposed to come in higher, yeah? And if you have noticed the trend, it's been coming somewhat higher every single time around that range. So inflation is still at an all-time high in UK. So yeah, even this is projected to come in higher. So this is no surprise. The UK economy is extremely uncertain at the moment. Then we have US dollar purchasing managers index, also projected to come in higher. Again, showing inflation is still persisting in US. Big one on Wednesday, we have a big one. We have the FOMC meeting minutes. This is like the recorded minutes of the meeting that happened. So they're going to post the whole PDF on everything that happened, and this might give us maybe an extra insight on what can happen in the next FOMC meeting. Yeah, so it's something very important to keep an eye on. Thursday we have JPY bank holiday. So if you're going to be trading any Japanese yen instrument, British pound like GJ or UJ, I would suggest to not trade Japanese yen instruments, right? Lower volatility. And a big one as well, preliminary GDP on Thursday as well, around New York session. And if you look at the number, it's showing stagnant. It's going to come in stagnant, which is going to be interesting to see actually, because if their rate hikes are working, this should be dropping, right? It shouldn't be stagnant. It should be at least be dropping. So that means they still have maybe a ways to go with the hiking of the rates. So this is still stagnant. Unemployment claims is coming in higher, which is going to be interesting this week. What else do we have here? So on Friday, this is a big one. I think it is this week. I think so. It's Bank of Japan is going to be it's going to be electing a new governor for the bank. So depending on which governor they elect, that's gonna strengthen the Japanese yen or weaken it, right?
I
So
think
this is
there's
going to
been
be
a
interesting.
nomination on that already. The new governor that's coming in.
Who was it?
Give me a second.
Yeah, there we go. I think it just came out. So Bank of Japan, Kuroda to East Ueda. Oh, so it's Ueda. This is a new guy. So I think it's elected already 13 hours back. Bank of Japan, there we go.
I know he's been compared to someone, I can't remember who it was that he was compared to. There was some article I skipped past.
Massive bond setting. It's going to be interesting. I actually want to sit down and actually look at his views, and depending on his views, I'm gonna come to a bias. Maybe he might be bullish or bearish for the Japanese yen.
Well, it depends. Like, I think with Japan, it's just how old is he?
That I'm not sure of. From the photo, I think he's old.
Yeah, see,
One
like
second.
I'd probably say he's gonna maintain the same kind of hypothesis.
Yeah, probably because they have to. I think because there's no option. They have to keep the looser policies.
So they're still buying up bonds. I think they've broken their deflationary period now.
Yep.
What's inflation sitting at for them?
I think it's at 2.5. Is it? JPY inflation.
To be fair, the Japanese economy needs some stimulation. They
Yeah, it's a 2.4 around that. Oh, it's at 4 actually. It's a lot actually. In fact, because this is actually, I think the target was to keep it at 3.5 or something. So it's gone above, but they still have to inflate it because they deflated the currency for so long. They have to, in fact, purposely inflate it. So yeah.
Yeah, and it would give. That's what I'm saying. It's going to give the economy the necessary stimulus for growth. Depending how long they take this forward. And Japan's not the same Japan of the 90s. They've kind of taken a backseat in terms of innovation, and I think that's why I asked what age the guy was, because I think a lot of it lies with just their aging population. Young people
let's actually check.
Young people are too involved with manga and hentai.
Hentai, interesting.
Yeah, you know you're into that.
Where is this guy? Google doesn't want to show me his age. What's going on? So he was born in the early 1950s, it says. Oh, it's 71.
71.
Yep.
Yeah, look, this guy's old. Like, why are we electing individuals that really are past their sell-by date? Yeah, so that's not really going to be doing much for them.
Yeah, I guess nothing's going to change.
Like, how are these people? Like, I think Japan's even announced their CBDC program. Like, how are these individuals the ones who are taking this kind of innovation forward?
I bet he's asking his nephew. I guess that's it for this week with the fundamentals. I think new home sales will be interesting to see. It's projected to go up, so more home sales. Because if you remember Powell's speech, he emphasized on the home sales as well. So keeping an eye out on the home sales numbers is going to be important as well. So keep an eye out on that. Consumer sentiment staying stagnant as last month. University of Michigan consumer sentiment. G20 meetings. This is going to be interesting to see. Keep an eye out on these. So I think that's it with the fundamentals. Let's look at technicals then. Should I show the BTC chart or you want to show, bro?
You can show. You want to do Dixie first?
Oh yeah, let's look at Dixie first. Okay, so the dollar index. Yep, the dollar index, at least from the last week, what do we see? We see it's been creating nice bullish structure. And if you notice the candle, it's closed in the middle with some indecision there. And if you remember from our previous technicals, we mentioned price needs to break above this 104 and have a closure above that 104 area. So at the moment, what do we see? We don't see a closure above. So possibly price may pull back to around that 103 area, find some support, somewhere there, and then take off, right? So that's going to be interesting. Let's look at the daily time frame. So the daily is also showing us that it's giving us some rejections around this area. So I think it's going to pull back, possibly. The best case scenario would it to be pulled back around this area here at 103,700 or 650, and then take off. But if not, it can come back all the way around this area down here, which is at 10, let's say 102, 250, right? Let's call it that area, and then take off. So let's see what it does this week, because depending on the FOMC meeting, if it's extremely hawkish or bullish, it can take off from that level that I mentioned, right? So let's look at BTC then. All right, bro, look at BTC. Let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, bro, you want to break this down?
Yeah. So I've
There you go.
mentioned on the last call, like the key level was this sort of 25, not 25K region, sorry. Yeah, 25K region. And I think price actions responded perfectly to that. We broke out of trend. Do you want to go on the, well, your chart looks different to mine. Let me pull up my chart as well. All right. So on a higher time frame, monthly time frame, this just looks like a clear confirmation of the previous breakout from June. I mentioned that in the group of that's June of 22. So that looks like a clear breakout. We see volume dying off there, dropping down a time frame on the weekly. Hang on, I'm going to an index chart so I can use both averages. So price actions going up and retesting this 25K level after coming down from when I mentioned last week. And still respecting, it's kind of broken above the 50 moving average of the def cross, but it's still reasonably respecting it. So based off this rejection, we'll see it pull back, I would say, on the weekly chart. But on the everything I'm saying is still very bearish. We've had I would say a unpredictable and also a synthetic pump. There's a lot of speculation on, well, not even speculation, I think it's fact that a lot of the sort of PACs banning on BUSD caused a surge of USDC, which caused some inflation in the prices. So I think this was just a complete fake pump, and we will go down to lower levels, and we've got rising wedges here on the daily time frame. Do you see the same pattern here? Because I've been fudded for all day today in my short position. So I'm short 25K from this level.
Oh, actually, that's not a bad level to short from. That's nice area of resistance. It's resisted there 1, 2, 3, 4, almost the 5th day. Yep, that makes sense. And we also see a bearish engulfing there. So possibly, hopefully, it holds that resistance and drops. Possibly all the way here.
That was the reassurance I needed for today. Yeah, the whole day, man, I've just been fudded.
The only thing I probably don't like is this. It's like it broke through the structure level and it retested it. But other than that, I think it's it does look if it can hold this resistance, then it's primed to fall.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process here.
All right.
Yep,
let's look at Ethereum.
I haven't really looked at a higher time frame on this yet. I did play a shorter time frame today. That was
it's pretty similar to BTC.
It is. Everything's following us. What I was just about to say. Sorry, still pushing off this cough. But yeah, money's flowing in the same way, same sort of volume candles. We're still dying off at the sort of 1,700 level, facing a lot of resistance.
Yep. Nice resistance there.
Yeah, and I was sort of targeting with my long, I was targeting 1,800 and just wasn't getting it. I think I closed out about 1,730 something.
On that daily, was that a daily? Then go back to the daily. Could we say that was an inverted head and shoulders that's just been retested perfectly at the neckline?
I do see. Where is it? There.
Inverted head and shoulders with a perfect retest at the neckline.
It did. I don't Did it retest the neckline? Yeah, actually, I think so. It did. Let me check that out.
Perfectly.
Yeah, actually, it has. But the thing is, it's stuck in this weird range here. So this is going to be confirmed head and shoulders only if it makes that third leg all the way up, breaking these highs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Inshallah.
So let's see. Let's see.
Now I've taken profit anyway on the full position. Just seeing, I think there's just way too much indecision in the market. It's very weird to see. I actually wanted to check the fear and greed index.
Oh, you want me to open it up?
Yeah, do you want to have a take a look?
We've also broken a little bit of a trend line there on the last like 4 days.
Oh, 1 second, let me check.
Yeah, and that's the trend line I was sort of following.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
so
we are at greed now.
just greed. Yeah, 58. It's just like very, you see how bearish the market gets in terms of its sentiment, and then you get like one green candle and everyone flips bullish. And I think even like on the equity side of things, was it Bank of America or it was Wells Fargo, I think, that came out and said like the bear market's over.
Because they want also all to flood in and they'll take our money.
Yeah, liquidity grab much.
Yep, exactly. So I think that's clear. I think Ethereum is stuck in that small range there. Possibly it can fall because it's been holding that resistance there at 4 hour. Which is the trend line you were talking about in 4 hour? This
Long one.
No, on that daily, then it looked like say the last 4 or 5 days on the daily we've seen them wicks coming down 4 minute trend line.
okay, I think it's. Did you draw the trend line this
See
way?
them? No, down on the top of the.
Are
No,
you,
there's a perfect trend line. That's not the one I was on about. But
are you
that's
talking about the
perfect.
one at the top?
Yeah, there's one at the top, no going across, like
Ah.
from left to right down, you know what I mean? The opposite way you were drawing it then.
Okay, I think it's
Even
On the last like 4 days.
okay, last 4 days.
See
1,
the
2,
tops
3,
of them
4.
wicks? The tops of them wicks
Yeah.
coming down.
Yeah, it is, but you see, actually, it went down, but it's still like kind of still holding that area.
But even looking at this chart right now, where you drew that trend line at the bottom, making the large, let's say, inverted right angle triangle with a fake out.
Like that.
Yeah, like I can see that. I can see that looking like a very bearish formation when I look at the chart. And I can see Ethereum probably squeezing into possibly March around this level before actually making a move.
Possibly. Okay, so let me let's move into indices then. Let's look at SPX, S&P 500. Oh, S&P 500 was very beautiful last week. Look at that level we marked out, 4110. Perfect short position came through there. And guess how many days we waited for that position? All the way from 2nd of February. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the 11th day, we got that short position in. This shows you trading is all about patience. Yeah. So we got that position, and now let me delete that off. So let's look at the weekly. The monthly, we have how many days do we have for monthly to close? We have a few days actually. So just by looking at the monthly chart, that's not telling us much. That's giving the only thing that's telling us at the moment, the current monthly candle is a massive rejection towards the top, and it starts stuck in that massive consolidation, like I've mentioned here, right? So let's look at the weekly. I like the weekly candles. Look at the weekly candle. This is what Kev was mentioning: lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Yeah, right. You see the wick falling slowly, and you see this rejection. That's a massive rejection and that resistance. So it's a heavy possibility it drops to this level that I've actually marked out for the last few weeks as well. So if this area breaks through and finds support, then probably that would be a nice high probability short position, because the weekly will also be switched to bearish. Looking at the daily time frame, what is the daily telling us? The daily is, let's see, I think possibly this could be this. We could say this can be a triple top, possibly, right? Right. So and prices at the moment breaking through that broke through the triple top neckline and making its way through, right? Possibly makes its way through somewhere around here, maybe retrace there, and then maybe take another leg down. So I think the best course of action, if you want to take a lower probability short position, I'm going to mark it out. But I suggest to wait for this area to break, right? So let me mark out that area. 1 second. It would be around this neckline, which is also not only the neckline, it's also the daily structure point. And this would be at 4,100, I think. Sorry, 4,010. Oh my God, 1 second. It's been a long day. 4090, I think. There. So around that area, I think would be a nice area to take a short position from, right? So I'll keep that on. And so I think that's good with SPX. Nothing, very simple analysis. Another thing, maybe if you wanna notice is what did it do? It broke through consolidation, right? And what does happen during consolidation? Price comes to retest that broken consolidation area. So that's why I think that might be a good short position to take home. Yeah. US 30. Let's look at Dow Jones. Dow Jones still in consolidation here. If you notice, let's look at the higher time frame. Monthly is not telling me much. Still in consolidation. Weekly, these weekly candles are not nice. Just doji candles on doji candles, right? So nothing here to see. Still in massive consolidation. Let's look at the daily. If you look at the daily, you see the green box that I've drawn out. That's the consolidation inside the weekly, inside the daily time frame as well. So a lot of choppiness. I don't think still you should be trading this. The areas that are marked out only after confirmation, you should be taking these long position. You see how this wick kind of faked out people. This is why you got to be very careful with also, even if it breaks this area, wait for your confirmations, right? So I think I'm going to stick with these 2 points. This for the long position, this for the short position. But I wouldn't recommend this. But if you're someone who has a high risk appetite, and if you end up seeing price again holding this area as a resistance, you should take a short position. And also, if you find support here, maybe take a long. But I'd rather you wait for this area to break, find resistance, and then drop. Same thing here, find support, then take a long, right? So that's with Dow Jones US 30. Let's look at British pound US dollar. Notice something with my chart, right? With the US dollar, British pound US dollar on my monthly chart, what do we see? Price has been resisting that red line. That's the yearly trend line, right? It's been resisting that, which is interesting to see. And at the moment, it's below the body of the previous bullish candle, showing there's some bearish momentum in the market. And technically, I still remain bearish with this structure here on the monthly. On the weekly, though, let's look at the weekly. So the weekly candle, the previous weekly candle wasn't a nice candle, but it actually gave us good positions because if you capitalize on the moves that we mentioned the previous week, they were perfect moves in the market, right? So what does this candle tell me? It filled out a price gap there, right? It filled out a price gap and still remaining bearish. Why? Because it's still closed below this structure point there. So I remain bearish on the weekly, right? Let's look at the daily. So the daily structure, what did we see with the daily? Daily made this tiny pullback here, bullish structure to grab that price gap that I mentioned. And eventually, once it did that with this massive wick, it broke through this structure point. And what do we see now at the moment? Is this structure point that broke through? What is it doing? It's holding that area as resistance, right? So it remains bearish on the daily as well. So if you're going to be trading this, it's best to look at taking short positions, right? So I think the best, because this was a bank holiday, possibly could have taken this short, but best position would be for this structure point to break through, right? And this would be at, let's say, let's call it 119. Let me make this flat number. Let's see if I can make this into 1.20. Yeah, I think that's not accurate. I think I'll keep it at 1. I'll keep it there, yeah, because let the structure break and maybe you can take a short position, possibly targeting the TP areas around this area at this wick here. Yeah, because what does this wick tell me? There's a lot of pressure, right, in the market. So possibly looking at this area, or if it does break this area, continue to hold the trade, let it and see if it finds resistance, and then move your stop losses above, right? So possibly that would be the short position I would look at if I'm going to be trading GU. Let's see. Let's look at the 4-hour chart as well once. So what is the 4-hour doing? Clearly, what do we see? It's found resistance at that daily structure point, right? So it's primed for a drop all the way through here. And then once this area breaks, possibly you can take a short position. Yeah. And also you can take a short position if it comes here and bounces off, maybe add another position to ride that wave, right? So that's what I'll be looking with GU. I think that's just one point I want to add. I don't think anything else looks interesting here. Let's look at GJ then, British pound, Japanese yen. The monthly candle, it's been too choppy. Honestly, for me, this pair has been way too choppy. I haven't traded it at all for the last few months probably, right? Because why? You see this orange area, it's been in that consolidation since December. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months of consolidation. And what's this kind? There's nothing interesting for me to say here, because even if it does make any structure or break structure points, I wouldn't take a position till this whole area of consolidation breaks. What does this daily candle do? Again, what do we see with the daily? It faked out a lot of people with the break of that area, and then it did what? Drop down, right? This is why you got to be very careful. The market makers know where you keep your buy stops and sell stops. A lot of people might have kept the buy stops over here, and the market makers know exactly where you have your orders. So they want to grab your liquidity, right? Your money. So again, I'm going to be marking that area off. Only take this trade only if all of your confluences match up. It's the same point that I've been mentioning for the last few weeks. Again, short position. If this area breaks at, let's call it 156, 250, I think. There we go. So that's it with GJs, nothing else to look at. Let's look at gold. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick one on GJ there. You know, when you mentioned, obviously you're waiting for confirmation of that. That fucking consolidation to break. Would you be waiting for that confirmation on the daily time frame?
It depends. I think that day when it did break, I'll show you probably.
That's what I mean, because if you took off that candle, I'm sure there was a few valid entry candles, you know what I mean? But
there wasn't an entry candle. If you look at when it broke through here, what do we see? Price did not perfectly find support anywhere here and did not give us an entry candle. A lot of people got faked out there, yeah. And especially when price breaks through, if there's a lot of volume and it breaks through here, after finding that support there at this area there, it should take off usually. But it did not take off. It came back pouring down all the way, right? So therefore, obviously, waiting for the daily time frame for closure is going to be too late, right? So you got to wait for the lower time frames, maybe even the 15 or the 30-minute time frame.
Yeah. No, I just obviously top-down analysis. I was just wondering with that period of consolidation, whether you'd wait for a daily, you know what I mean, break and retest, and then we go. But obviously, yeah, just going back to top-down analysis, just taking entries on a smaller time frame.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep it very high probability, possibly wait for the structure point to break. Yeah, and maybe hopefully if the structure point breaks and it finds some support there, possibly take that.
Yeah,
so let's look at gold then. Gold has been giving us nice moves the past week, I think. What do we see with the massive time frame? Can we see? So what do we see with the massive time frame? Price triple topped, right, at the moment, and it only breaks structure all the way down here, which is at 16 32. So therefore, on the monthly time frame, we remain. You know what's funny? I think we still remain bearish. Why? Is because this structure point here never truly broke and didn't find support. So we still remain bearish on the monthly time frame, and it's double top, triple topped. Yeah. Weekly. Let's look at the weekly time frame. So these were the moves we called out last week, and they went beautifully. Even 1865. Let me delete that. So that's nice textbook candles. You see how momentum slowed down, nice massive bearish volume. Boom, 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 right? Started dropping. So the weekly candle still remains bearish. One thing I'm waiting for is for the weekly structure to completely actually go bearish, and that breaks only through that 1800 area, right? The 1792 1800 area. I want to see what price does here, which I mentioned last week as well, right? So I want to see what price does there. But at the moment, we are seeing nice bearish pressure. And one thing I think you might have noticed or not, it filled the price gap. What do I mean by that? You see how price broke through here, this area there. You see how the wick perfectly filled that price gap there. So, and once that price gap filled up, we saw a massive wick towards the bottom, right? Possibly, I think price may pull up towards this area, or in fact, even I think it may even go higher, possibly to fill another price gap, which is at this area that I drew out, yeah, at 1920. So I again mark that area off, I think 1920. 1920. And another one, if not there, maybe a retest of this daily structure point there, which would be at 1854. 1854. There, right? So that's possibly what I'll be looking for this week. I think maybe say like worst case scenario, these structure points do not get retested, right? So if not, maybe wait for this area here to break and see if it can find good amount of resistance. Once that does, maybe then target these areas again, right? All the way towards this wick. Because this wick shows us what? Clean traffic, a lot of volume, straight momentum. So if it can again mimic that that much movement, possibly we can see a nice move down. So that's what I'll be looking at this week. I'll mark that off as well. The structure point would be at 1836. Let's call it 1836. This would be a lower probability though. The 1836. You have to be very careful when taking this shot. You have to wait for your confluences to match up. So that's it with gold and other pairs. I guess that's it for today. Yeah, all clear.